House will come back to order. I don't know where everyone is. We're about to legalize horse racing and dog racing in Georgia, and nobody's in here. All in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. Let's see if that gets people in here. You got a few. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions. I'm going to have the clerk ring the bell and see if parimutuel betting didn't get them in here, if something else will. Clerk will read.
Resolution by Representative Wilkinson, the 52nd, recognizing commending Alexis DeGroot. Resolution by Representative Carter, 175th, recognizing commending Mr. Robert Clyott, founder of Kids Chance. Resolution by Representative Ralston, 7th, recognizing commending 2013 session temporary administrative assistants, House of Representatives. Resolution by Representative Ralston, 7th, honoring and celebrating Adele Mercier on the occasion of her 95th birthday. Resolution by Representative Ralston, 7th, recognizing commending Adam Boyce. Resolution by Representative Smith, 70th, honoring the 50th birthday. Resolution by Representative Ralston, 7th, recognizing commending Trey Smith. Resolution by Representative Ralston, 7th, commending William Allen Patterson, Fannin County School System star teacher. Resolution by Representative Ralston, 7th, recognizing commending Donna Peebles, Fannin County School System star teacher. Resolution by Representative Jackson, 128th, recognizing commending Horace Fuller on the occasion of his retirement. Resolution by Representative Epps, 144th, recognizing commending Mr. Brad Sanders, Berkeley County High School star teacher. Resolution by Representative Epps, recognizing Jones County star teacher. Resolution by Representative Epps, 144th, recognizing commending Twiggs Academy star teacher. Resolution by Representative Epps, 144th, commending Anna Camille Jackson, Wilkinson County High School star student. Resolution by Representative Epps, 144th, commending Bleckley County High School star student. Resolution by Representative Ralston, 7th, recognizing commending University of Georgia School of Law, winning National Moot Court Championship. Resolution by Representative Epps, 144th, recognizing Jones County High School star student. Resolution by Representative Epps, 144th, commending Twiggs Academy star student. Resolution by Representative Epps, 144th, commending the Wilkinson County High School star teacher. Resolution by Representative Smyre, 135th, congratulating being honored by the University Alumni Chapter. Resolution by Representative Powell, 32nd, on the life and memory of Charles O. Bucky Coggin, Jr. Resolution by Representative Powell, 32nd, recognizing commending Margaret Ayers, receiving Community Banker Association Award. Resolution by Representative Martin, the 49th, congratulating Milton High School girls lacrosse team win their 7th championship. Resolution by Representative Morgan, 39th, commending the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority on its 25th anniversary celebration. Resolution by Representative Dudgeon, 25th, recognizing commending Brandon Dudgeon. Resolution by Representative Parrish, 158th, congratulating Dr. Paul Sabovitz. Resolution by Representative Parrish, 158th, commending the East Georgia College men's basketball team. Resolution by Representative Wilkinson, 38th, recognizing commending Brunswick Zone Austell for its support of the community and supporting the troops. And a resolution by Representative Smyre, the 135th, recognizing commending Benny Butler Newroth on significant achievements through the privilege resolutions.
Is there objection to the adoption of the privilege resolutions? Chair hears none. The resolutions are adopted. Chair recognizes Representative Ramsey for a motion.
You're going to move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the Committee of Conference report to House Bill 487.
Representative Ramsey moves that this House adopt the Committee of Conference report on House Bill 487. The clerk will read the Conference Committee report.
Committee of Conference report on House Bill 487. Committee of Conference on House Bill 487 recommends that both the Senate and House representatives receive from their positions attached Committee of Conference substitute House Bill 487 be adopted. Respectively submitted to the House of Representatives, Representative Ramsey of 72nd, Representative Williams 168th, Representative Coomer the 14th for the Senate, Senator Miller the 49th, Senator Bethel the 54th.
Chair recognizes Representative Ramsey to explain the Committee of Conference report on House Bill 487.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is legislation that we passed overwhelmingly out of this body several weeks ago, and the goal here is simple. It's to put some more tools in place and a process in place that we can finally get our arms around the problem of the illegal use of Class B adult redemption games. Under current law, they're legal. The problem is they're being used illegally at places all over the state. My seatmate, Representative Dempsey, just this week printed an article out and brought it to me from Floyd County, where their task force did a raid of 7 stores, and their sheriff summed it up well. These games are not illegal if operated within the law. However, cash payouts are illegal, and we're going to continue enforcing the law. And sometimes it just takes a little while to complete the process of the investigation. And that right there is the problem in a nutshell. We've got laws prohibiting cash payouts, but our current body of regulations just aren't working. They're not giving tools to the law enforcement that we need. So the guts of this bill is to put in place a monitoring system under the lottery who has experience doing electronic monitoring, where every dollar that goes through these machines it can be monitored and accounted for, so you don't have cash going out from behind the register and out the back door to the tune, GBI actually said in committee, this is about in excess of $100 million a year of black market industry. So that's what we're trying to do here. I want to quickly go over with you the 5 or 6 changes that were made in conference from what we passed out of the House. And every single one of the changes did nothing but strengthen the bill and give actually both the state and local governments more control to deal with this problem. First, we added several local control measures. Right now, under state law, localities can prohibit more than 9 machines in any location. So you can only have 9, and the localities, cities and counties are allowed to pass an ordinance to that effect. We've taken that number down to 6. So localities now can prohibit more than 6 in any one location, so they can reduce by 33% the number of machines in a location. We're doing that in the bill. Another really important thing that GMA asked for, and we agree with this, actually, you've got a letter on your desk of full support from GMA, that they be given independent auditing authority of these machines. Right now, under current law, the state is the sole auditor. This gives the local governments the ability to do independent auditing of the machines and the locations in their communities. And then 3, we've put in place a provision that will allow localities to ban the machines altogether if they meet a certain trigger threshold. When these machines are plugged into the monitoring system next year, the lottery is going to be doing constant auditing of the dollars and the play going through these machines. And there are provisions in place for them to provide notice of violations of the law if something improperly, someone is improperly using one of the machines. The bill provides a provision that if at any one time, if more than 15% of the license holders in a community are in violation of these auditing provisions, and there's been an adverse finding against them, that the community can vote to ban those machines outright. So we're expanding local control to help deal with this problem. We removed some language that potentially, the AG said was potentially problematic. There was an ambiguity, and it would have potentially caused some problem with our state's forfeiture law. We took that out altogether. We put in place, one of our members asked, and it was ambiguous, it certainly was never our intention, that there wasn't a date certain by which this monitoring system was going to be in place. We've added a date certain now. It's July 1st, 2014. And finally, we've added a provision. A member brought to our attention the concern that we've bifurcated the licensing now and put in place a prohibition on a person that owns the machines also owning the location license where those machines are located. That's actually been some of the most prevalent violators of the law, are people that hold both licenses, because it allows for manipulation of the reports. And so we've put in place a firewall between the two, but some long-time convenience store owners didn't want to be put in a position where in the 3 months after this bill is signed into law, they have to fire sell their location. So we've put a 2-year grandfathering law in place for these long-time license holders to make sure they can unwind their business in a way that's appropriate but still in compliance with state law. Now, those are kind of the basic changes from what we passed to the conference committee, and I'm not going to tell you what I think about the bill. I just want to read just a couple sentences to you from some of the groups that are on the front lines dealing with this. You got a letter on your desk from the Prosecuting Attorneys Council, who fully support this measure. And this is a sentence they said. The industry affected by this bill has been very difficult to police, and under current law, prosecutions for violators are rare. This measure will dramatically decrease the ability for the criminal element associated with illegal gambling to operate within this industry. This is GMA. The bill provides municipalities with the enhanced oversight and additional enforcement mechanisms necessary for law enforcement to effectively regulate Class B coin-operated machines. And finally, the GBI. I believe having Class B coin-operated machines regulated by the Georgia Lottery Commission is an effective way to detect, investigate, and prosecute those persons who would use them in an illegal manner. That's it in a nutshell, folks. Those are the folks that are dealing with this scourge every single day out on the front lines, and it is a scourge. This is not just illegal gambling, but these locations that have these practices in place, they become a hub for criminal activity in these communities, and it's time we finally give the people that are out there fighting this problem the tools to effectively address the problem. With that, Mr. Speaker, I'd be happy to answer any questions, and if there are no questions, I'd ask.
You got a couple.
Okay.
Let's see. I always give priority to the majority leader, but I've got to recognize in this case Representative Al Williams to your left for a question. I'll get to you, Mr. Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate your acknowledging position here. But will the gentleman yield?
I will, yes, sir.
Thank you for this bill and bringing transparency and helping to eliminate a problem that's very prevalent in our state. But I also understand that you had one of the finest conference groups in the history of this capital.
The gentleman is 100% accurate, and the Senate didn't stand a chance when we walked in. And I appreciate your service on the conference committee.
Chair recognizes the majority leader of the House to your right for a question.
Thank you. Will the gentleman yield?
I will.
Isn't it true that I know you to be a very learned and incredibly talented young attorney, and consequently know how to read the law very well? Isn't that true?
If the gentleman so stay, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would disagree with that statement, though.
Well, I don't. And with that foundation being set, are you aware of any portion of this bill, anywhere in here, the new iteration, that in any way could possibly, even possibly expand illegal gambling in Georgia, as some have alleged, that are so incredibly uninformed on what's going on here?
Absolutely not. It does exactly the opposite. This is meant to shut down the abuse of these machines that has allowed rampant illegal commercial gambling to exist in our state. This does not make anything like these machines are legal under state law. The problem is we don't have a regulatory system in place to make sure they're used legally and in compliance with our state laws. That's exactly what we're doing here, nothing more, nothing less. And the folks, the stakeholders that have been involved with this, from the law enforcement community to the Department of Revenue to local communities, are crying out for help, and that's what we're trying to do here.
You have one more question if you care to yield.
I will.
Chair recognizes Representative Drenner to your left for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I will.
Representative, I would like to commend you for bringing this bill forward. This is a significant problem in my area, and I just want to say thank you. It's very well done, and I appreciate the assistance.
Thank you, Representative. And most of actually all the credit really needs to go to Governor Deal. He's brought an unprecedented number of people to the table to make this bill a reality. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to yield the well and ask for the body's favorable consideration of the motion.
You have no further questions, and the gentleman has yielded the well. On the adoption of the Conference Committee report on House Bill 487, all those in favor of the adoption of the Conference Committee report will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Have all members now voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the adoption of the Conference Committee report on House Bill 487, the ayes are 162, the nays are 6, and the Committee of Conference report is adopted. Chair recognizes Majority Caucus Whip Representative Lindsay for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 78.
Representative Lindsay moves that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 78. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 78 by Representative Willard of the 51st. Bill being entitled Amendment Title 31, Title 30, Title 16 relating crimes and offenses when depositions to preserve testimony in criminal proceedings may be taken and for other purposes. The Senate substitute, this House Bill 78 is printed in your agree, disagree folders. Subject of Representative Lindsay's motion to agree, upper right-hand corner of the Senate substitute, HB 78/SCSFA/2.
Chair recognizes Representative Lindsay to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm here on behalf of our Judiciary Chairman, who's claiming to be ill on day 40. My guess is he's actually getting ready for the basketball games this weekend. HB 78, you will recall, is the bill in which we toughen the laws regarding elder abuse. The only change to the law that was added by the Senate is found at lines 155 through 175. That addition is HB 3, which also passed overwhelmingly by this body, went to the Senate, and the Senate simply combined the two bills together to pass it out. HB 3, which was added, simply deals with a correction to the evidence code that we passed last year regarding refreshing a witness's memory with work product and having it not be a waiver of an attorney-client privilege. That's essentially the only change to the bill. Both of them passed overwhelmingly by the House. And I ask for this body's favorable consideration. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, I will yield the well.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 78, all those in favor of the motion will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the gentleman's motion. The ayes are 167. The nays are 1. This House has agreed. Chair recognizes Representative Hightower for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we agree to the Senate substitute as amended by the House to HB 87.
Representative Hightower moves that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 87 as amended by this House. Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 87 by Representative Hightower, the 68th bill entitled 21 relating to precincts and polling places. The Senate substitute, House Bill 87, is printed in your agree-disagree folders. Upper right-hand corner, HB 87 SCSFA/2. Representative Hightower's amendment was the subject of his motion to agree to the Senate amendment as amended by his amendment. It's printed and placed on your desk. Representative Hightower, 68, offers the following amendment. Amendment substitute, House Bill 87. The amendment number at the upper right-hand corner, AM 251325.
Chair recognizes Representative Hightower to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If y'all see Amendment AM 251325 that's been on your desk most of the day, this amendment simply puts my bill back to its original form. When we went over to the Senate, they amended the bill, put a couple of things on there that I have discussed with Ledge Council that would have not allowed the bill to meet constitutional muster of the one subject matter. Then they made some floor amendments that after talking with the reapportionment office, they said would not be workable. So what we've done is you have an amendment on your desk that I'm asking y'all to vote in favor of that simply puts my bill back to its original form on how we already voted it out. And I'd ask for your favorable consideration. Mr. Speaker, I'll yield to any questions if there are any.
You have no questions. I'm sorry, you do have a question. Do you yield?
I'll yield.
The chair recognizes Representative Henson to your left for a question.
Thank you. Will you yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. As a representative from DeKalb County, will I be comfortable voting for this bill now?
You should be.
Thank you.
No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 87 as amended by the Hightower Amendment AM 251325. All those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion, the ayes are 156, the nays are 7. This House has agreed to the Senate substitute to House Bill 87 as amended by this House. Chair recognizes Representative Bruce for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am making a motion that we accept the two amendments that were made in the Senate on House Bill 150.
Representative Bruce has moved that the House agree to the Senate amendment to House Bill 150. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 150 by Representative Bruce, 61st. Bill being entitled Title 10, Title 50, Title 51, relating to selling and other trade practices. The House version of House Bill 150 is printed in your agree-disagree folders. There are two Senate amendments which are the subject of Representative Bruce's motion to agree to the Senate amendments. The first Senate amendment is printed in your agree-disagree folder, upper right-hand corner, AM 292180. The second amendment, AM 292182. Two Senate amendments to this bill, House Bill 150, subject to Representative Bruce's motion.
Chair recognizes Representative Bruce to explain his motion.
Thank you. All these amendments both of them are designed to make it clear that this bill is intended not to interfere with the media being able to post mugshots as part of their news stories. That's the primary change. Thank you.
You have no questions?
Thank you.
Gentleman has yielded the well on the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate amendments to House Bill 150. All those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion, the ayes are 165, the nays are 3. This House has agreed to the Senate amendments to House Bill 150. Chair recognizes Representative Welch for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House agree as amended to HB 276.
Representative Welch has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 276 as amended by this House on the Welch Amendment AM 213870. The clerk will read the captions.
House Bill 276, Representative number 178th. Bill being entitled 12, relating to hazardous site response. The Senate substitute to House Bill 276, printed in your agree and disagree folders. The amendment offered by Representative Welch, the 110th. There are two amendments. Representative Welch has withdrawn one amendment. The amendment was the subject of Representative Welch's motion to agree to this Senate substitute, House Bill 276, as amended by the House, is printed on your desk. Representative Welch, 110th. Representative Meadows of the 5th offer the following amendment. Amend the substitute, House Bill 276, upper right-hand corner of this amendment, AM 213870.
Chair recognizes Representative Welch to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. You'll recall that we adopted out of the House, I think it was March 5th, the House Bill 276 that was sponsored by and authored by the Governor's Floor Leader, Representative Nimmer. And we passed that out, and included in that was a provision under Section 5 that dealt with fees and the adjustment of fees as appropriated for tires and for the hazardous waste bill. The Senate has removed that language, under the fee adjustment language has been removed from the bill. And the amendment that I have before you, which is Amendment 213870 with Chairman Meadows, That amendment puts that language back in. It's a streamlined language back in for fee adjustment. I'll take any questions on the bill.
You have a question if you care to yield.
I do.
Chair recognizes the governor's floor leader, Representative Nimmer, to your left for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Representative Welch, is it not true that you and I worked together on this amendment language to get the bill back in its original form that we passed?
That is true.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your effort on this.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, if there are no other questions, I'll yield the well.
You have no other questions. On the motion of the representative that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 276 as amended by this House by the Welch Amendment, AM 213870. All those in favor will vote yes, those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion, the ayes are 174. The nays are 1. This bill, this House has agreed to the Senate substitute to House Bill 276 as amended by this House. Chair recognizes Representative Caldwell for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 407.
Representative Caldwell has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 407. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 407 by Representative Powell, 32nd. Bill to be entitled Act amending Title 40, lane cancellation, suspension, revocation of driver's licenses. The Senate substitute, which is subject to Representative Caldwell's motion. It's printed and placed in your agree-disagree folders. Senate substitute, House Bill 407, upper right-hand corner, LC 295649 ERS.
Chair recognizes Representative Caldwell to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, back on the 30th day, as a matter of fact, right at 6 o'clock p.m., the House passed House Bill 407. This is a bill that was requested by the Department of Driver Services and the Governor's Highway Safety Council. What this did was it kept us in line to receive our federal funding because we had to increase our minimum time for interlock devices and for people who had had a second or third DUI or more from 6 to 8 months to a minimum of 12 months. And all the Senate did was add one other language that was requested once it got over to them by the Department of Driver Services to extend one other period to an additional 12 months. And I move that the House favorably accept this.
You have no questions.
I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute, House Bill 407. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion, the ayes are 167, the nays are 1. This House has agreed to the Senate substitute, House Bill 407.
they haven't said it to me yet, but they have it together.
Chair recognizes the Majority Caucus Whip, Representative Lindsay, for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 361.
Representative Lindsay has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 361. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 361, Representative Lindsay, the 54th bill entitled Mental 34 relating to membership in labor organizations. The Senate substitute, House Bill 361, printed in agree, disagree folders, upper right-hand corner, LC 371623 ERS.
What purpose does Chairman Pruitt rise?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask for a ruling on the content of this bill. When it left this House, House Bill 361 was a right-to-work bill, and when it came back from the Senate in Section 6, it deals with unemployment, and it seems to me that's two different subjects of content, Mr. Speaker.
Well, the chair's taken a look at this in anticipation that issue might come up, and even though it is the same title in the Code of Georgia, the chair is of the opinion that it is two separate and distinct subject matters, and will rule that the amendment put on by the Senate, which is in Section 6 of the bill, is not germane.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This House has therefore disagreed with the Senate substitute to House Bill 361. Chair recognizes. Chair recognizes Chairman Golick for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House insist on its position on House Bill 143 and a committee of conference be appointed.
You got my insist and appoint. Chairman Golick has moved that this House insist on its position in disagreeing to the Senate substitute to House Bill 143 and that a committee of conference be appointed. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 143, Representative Ralston, 7th bill being entitled Amendment Title 21, relating to campaign contributions.
Is there objection to the motion by Chairman Golick? Chair hears none. The House has insisted, and the chair appoints as a committee of conference on House Bill 143. The Majority Leader of the House, Representative O'Neill, the Chairman of the House Ethics Committee, Chairman Wilkinson, and the Chairman of the Judiciary Non-Civil Committee, Chairman Golick, as a committee of conference on House Bill 143. Chair recognizes Representative Pack for a motion. Just a minute, Representative. This House will be at order. I know everyone's busy. I know there's a lot of activity going on, but please take that activity out to the anterooms and off the floor of the House. The gentleman may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House agree to the Senate amendments to House Bill 475.
Representative Pack has moved that the House agree to the Senate amendment to House Bill 475. Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 475, Representative Pack, the 108th bill being entitled Amendment Title 40 relating to driver's licenses. The House passed version of House Bill 475 printed in your agree-disagree folders. There are two amendments to Senate amendments to House Bill 475. They are printed in your agree-disagree folders. House Bill 475 is amended by the Senate by Senate Amendment Number 1, upper right-hand corner, AM 350347, AM 350347. Senate Amendment Number 2, AM 350344. There are two Senate amendments to this House Bill 475, which are the subject of Representative Pack's motion.
You agreeing to both amendments?
Yes.
Chair recognizes Representative Pack to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And ladies and gentlemen of the House, there are two amendments that the Senate has placed on House Bill 475. I ask you to agree to both of those. There are 5 different points contained in those two amendments. One is that they wanted to make sure that it's more specific that the commissioner, in entering into reciprocity agreements, would consider the traffic laws of the country that we're seeking to have reciprocity with, to make sure that safety will not be compromised. The secondly is, since this is an economic development tool, they want to make sure that the countries that we're negotiating this reciprocity with, entities and persons from those countries have made significant investments in the state of Georgia or is going to in the future. And the third one is we'll make sure that we're not going to be entering into any kind of reciprocity agreement with countries that are listed in the terrorism list on by the Department of the State. The Second Amendment relates to how the driver's license issue pursuant to reciprocity is reflected. Currently, there's a term called limited term that's placed on the driver's license to show that it is, in fact, a driver's license issued to someone with a temporary visa in the country. That gives the department discretion to do so. And the last thing is that it makes clear and explicit in the bill that when you have the term limited term, that you can't use that as a valid photo ID for purposes of voting. And those are the amendments. And I'd be happy to yield for any questions.
You have no questions.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I ask for your favorable consideration. I yield the well.
On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate amendments to House Bill 475, all those in favor will vote yes, those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion, the ayes are 108, the nays are 55. This House has agreed to the Senate amendments to House Bill 475. Chair recognizes Representative Kirby for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House insist on its position and appoint a committee of conference on Senate Bill 62.
Representative Kirby has moved that this House insist on its position in disagreeing to the Senate the amendment to Senate Bill 62, and that a committee of conference be appointed. The clerk will read the caption.
Senate Bill 62 by Senator Hill, 32nd. The bill will be entitled Amendment Title 31, relating to care, protection, indigent, and elderly patients.
Chair recognizes Representative Kirby to explain his motion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Senate Bill 62, we feel that the version we have that has the Speaker of the House appointing the chairman of this committee is much superior to what we had, and we insist on our position and go to committee of conference.
Is there objection? Is there objection to the motion to insist and appoint on Senate Bill 62? The chair hears none. The House has insisted. The chair appoints as a committee of conference on Senate Bill 62 Chairman England of the 116th, Representative Kirby of the 114th, and Chairman Parrish of the 158th as a committee of conference on Senate Bill 62. Chair recognizes the chairman of the House Transportation Committee, Chairman Roberts, for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we agree to the Senate substitute to House Resolution 46.
Chairman Roberts has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute House Resolution 46. The clerk will read the caption.
House Resolution 46, by Representative Holt, 112th, a resolution on the life of Mr. Pierce Lovett Klein, dedicating a bridge in his memory. The Senate substitute to House Resolution 46, printed on your desk, upper right-hand corner of the Senate substitute to this House Resolution 46, was subject to Representative Roberts' motion. Upper right-hand corner, LC 390464S.
Chair recognizes Chairman Roberts to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, House Resolution 46 is the road naming bill that we passed out before the 30th day. So if you look in here and you see that your resolution is not in here, that's the one that was added to the Senate resolution that's come over, that's now back in the Senate. The only thing the Senate done was add Part 11 to it, which was adding one of their road namings, and that's all this bill does. Mr. Speaker, I'll be glad to take any questions. If not, I yield to Will.
You have a question.
Okay.
Chair, do you yield?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Williams to your right for a question. He waves. No further questions. Gentleman is yielding the well. On the gentleman's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Resolution 46, all those in favor will vote aye, those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the gentleman's motion, the ayes are 169, the nays are 1. This House has agreed. Chair recognizes Chairman Stevens for a motion. Gentleman may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move this House agree to the Senate amendment to the House substitute to Senate Bill 177.
Chairman Stevens has moved that this House agree to the Senate amendment to the House substitute to Senate Bill 177. The clerk will read the caption.
The Senate substitute, the House substitute, Senate Bill 177, upper right-hand corner, LC 371629S. The Senate offers the following amendment. Amend that substitute, the House Committee on Economic Development, Tourism substitute to Senate Bill 177. And this amendment, which is subject to Representative Stevens' motion, upper right-hand corner, AM 370215.
Chair recognizes Chairman Stevens to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, Senate Bill 177 is a bill that came from the Senate that changed the makeup of the Tourism Foundation. Some of these appointments that were made with the Golf Hall of Fame and the Music Hall of Fame and others are no longer in existence. That goes back and clarifies that so that it comes down to 20 appointments spread out, and irregardless of if those are in existence or not. And added to by the Senate clarifies the language that any of the lease agreements that are moved into by the state, except for the Board of Regents, will only go through the Properties Commission. Mr. Speaker, that's all it does, and I'll ask for your favorable consideration.
Gentleman has yielded the well on the gentleman's motion that the House agree to the Senate substitute to the Senate amendment to the House substitute to Senate Bill 177. All those in favor will vote yes, those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion, the ayes are 133. The nays are 29. This House has agreed to the Senate amendment to the House substitute to Senate Bill 177. Chair recognizes Representative Randall for a morning order. Representative Randall. The House will be in order.
ask all the members of the Women's Caucus to come and join Representative Braddock and myself. Not people that want to be where the women are, but the women.
I know it's probably futile, but I would ask that the House come to order. The House will please be in order and give attention to the many outstanding members of this body that are in the well at this time. Special morning order.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity. And to you all that are looking at us, no, we are not leaving the House. But on a serious note, we are here to make special tribute to a wonderful young woman who has been through tremendous ordeal this last couple of weeks. And Paulette Braddock is the co-chair of the Women's Legislative Caucus, and all these women, we want to stand, and we're wearing this green band. Everybody show your band. And it says, "Pray for Jessica." Jessica Powell has been through tremendous turmoil in the last few weeks, and we've been praying for her as a caucus. We've been praying for her individually. We've been praying for Jay and the rest of the family. And we just want you all to know as we go home that we're going to continue to pray for Jessica, because we know that there are strength in numbers, and we're praying collectively. And we want to remind, this is going to remind us to also pray individually for Jessica. So if at this time, all of the women and everyone, if you'll stand and join us just in a quick prayer in your own way for Jessica. Amen. Thank you so much.
Chair, the House will come back to order. House will come back to order. The chair recognizes Representative Oliver for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 21.
Representative Oliver has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 21. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 21, Representative Oliver, ladies, second. The bill being amendment Title 19, relating general provisions relative to adoption. Senate substitute, which is subject to Representative Oliver's motion, has been printed and placed on your desk. Senate substitute to House Bill 21, upper right-hand corner, LC 295642S, 295642S.
Chair recognizes Representative Oliver to explain her motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask the House to agree to the 3 very small technical amendments that the Senate made to House Bill 21. We were being overly careful to make sure that parent includes biological parent who's not the legal father, and we believe that the case law relating to modifications uses the word material rather than substantial. I ask for your favorable consideration of my motion that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 21.
On the lady's motion that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 21, all those in favor will vote yes, those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the lady's motion, the ayes are 169, the nays are 0. This House has agreed. Chair recognizes Representative Douglas for a morning order. Chair recognizes Representative Douglas for a morning order. Representative Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would Robbie read the caption?
House Resolution 786 by Representative Douglas, 78, Representative Williams, 168, Representative Atwood, 179th, Representative Smyrie, 135th, Representative Wilkinson, 52nd. A resolution honoring the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech and recognizing the opening of the National Center for Civil and Human Rights.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and fellow members of the House. On a serious note, I just have a few words about this great speech that was made. This summer on August 28, 2013, our nation will be celebrating the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King. Famous I Have a Dream speech. Seeing that I wasn't born until 1960-something, years after Dr. King's speech, to put things in perspective, let me ask all members of the House, of this House that was born after 1963 to please stand with me. After.
Coach.
Can you file an ethics complaint against the ethics chairman for a false statement on the floor of the House?
Please continue standing with me. Please continue standing with me. Look around at our fellow members who are still sitting. Those of us standing now, that we are standing on the shoulders of each one of you, as well as your respective brothers, sisters, fathers, grandmothers, aunts, and uncles. There are so many heroes in this room. Mr. Speaker, I would ask permission to offer a few minutes of my time in the well to one of my new heroes. In 1963, a 15-year-old boy from Savannah, Georgia, saved nickels and dimes throughout the year until he had enough money for a bus ride from South Georgia to Washington, D.C. He got on the bus with very little money, left for food or a place to stay. That young man is in this house today. He is no other than the Reverend Representative Williams. Will you please say a few words?
Thank you, my new friend. First, let me say I'm neither a prophet nor a prophet's son, but I am a vine tender. It doesn't seem that long ago, but yes, I did go and, as a youngster, and watch part of my life be changed on that historic day when over 250,000 people were there. Didn't have a lot of money. Was blessed to have met some people that I have maintained a friendship with. I'm very privileged to have gone to the march in '63, and 2 years later, as a 17-year-old, to march from Selma to Montgomery. Important parts of my life. Thank you so much. You made a pretty good football player. You'll be a much better legislator and friend. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Williams. Mr. Speaker, my standing here in this chamber as a member with each one of you assembled here is a fulfillment of a dream of mine. And as I stand here, please join me in a single vow. We are all well aware of the mistakes made in the black and white pages of history of our country. Join me in pledging that we will all fight to assure that we will not make the similar mistakes in the black and white, brown and red and yellow of our country. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for this manner in which each one of you has accepted me as a fellow member of this House, and I do agree, say thank you. I yield the word.
Chair recognizes Chairman Weldon for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I move we accept the, I move we agree to the Senate substitute House Bill 434.
Chairman Weldon has moved that this House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 434. The clerk will read the caption.
You got it. House Bill 434, Representative Weldon, third. Bill being titled Act Title 44, relating liens and mechanics and materialmen. The Senate substitute, which is the subject of Representative Weldon's motions, printed on your desk. Senate substitute, House Bill 434, upper right-hand corner, HB 434/SCSFA/2.
Chair recognizes Chairman Weldon to explain his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The modifications that the Senate's made to this bill, on line 41, they have added the words express or implied contract, and that took care of another subsection we had, and we could delete that. This is just much more efficient language, and they corrected a cross-reference on line 42. We had where it says code section 44-14-361.1, we had the wrong code section there, and this just clears that up. Appreciate your favorable consideration, Mr. Speaker. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to address
You
them.
have no questions.
I'll yield the will. Thank you.
The gentleman has yielded the will. On the gentleman's motion, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion, the ayes are 166. The nays are 2. This House has agreed to the Senate substitute, House Bill 434.
Chair recognizes Representative Tanner for a motion.
Thank you. I move that this House agree to Senate substitute to House Resolution 502.
The gentleman has moved that the House agree to the Senate substitute to H.R. 502. The clerk shall read the caption.
House Resolution 502 by Representative Tanner of the 9th, a resolution creating Joint Study Committee on Mental Health School Violence. The Senate substitute to House Resolution 502 is printed and on your desk. Upper right-hand corner of the Senate substitute, LC 286744S.
Chair recognizes Representative Tanner to explain the motion.
Thank you. All the change in the Senate does is add this. Going back, this resolution establishes a joint commission to study mental health in our state, appointed by the governor, the speaker, and lieutenant governor. I did not include in the original draft any payment language for those who served legislative per diem or the non-legislative members, the ability to be reimbursed. The Senate added that standard language in that we find in most all of our resolutions for study commissions, and that's all the changes are. I would ask your favorable consideration for the Senate substitute to House Resolution 502.
There are questions.
Yes, ma'am, I'll yield.
Chair recognizes Representative Houston for a question. She waives. The chair recognizes Representative Williams of the 87th for a question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Would the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Is that a revenue thing where they added per diem to the bill?
No, sir. It comes out of the already appropriated monies for this body. It's just the payment for legislators. If they go to one of these meetings, which is limited to 5 meetings, they'd receive their standard legislative per diem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Welch for a question. He waives. There are no more questions.
Thank you. I yield the well and ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Gentleman has yielded the well. On the gentleman's motion that the House agree to the Senate substitute to H.R. 502, all those in favor will vote yes, all those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the gentleman's motion. The yeas were 157, the nays were 3, and the House has agreed to the Senate substitute for H.R. 502.
If I could, I would. I wish I had.
I'm sorry.
All right, now
I'll check back with you. If you haven't heard from them. Sure. Yes, sir.
the House will be at ease for a few minutes while we're waiting to get some distributions on the desks. The House is back in order. Chair recognizes Chairman Rice for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move that the House insist on its position on Senate Bill 121, appoint a conference committee.
Gentleman has insisted on Senate Bill 121 and requested that we appoint a committee of conference. The clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 121.
Senate Bill 121 by Senator Ramsey of 43rd. The bill will be entitled Amendment Title 40 relating to prestige license plates.
Is there objection? The chair hears none. The House has insisted. The chair appoints Representative Rice of the 95th, Representative Powell of the 32nd, and Representative Battles of the 15th as a committee of conference on Senate Bill 121. Chair recognizes Chairman Rice for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 463 as amended by the House.
Gentleman has moved that the House agree to the Senate substitute as amended for House Bill 463. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 463 by Representative Rice, 95th. It will be entitled Amendment Title 40 relating to motor vehicle license fees and classes. The Senate substitute to this House Bill 463 is printed on your desk. Senate substitute to House Bill 463. Representative Rice's amendment has been printed and is on your desk at this time. Representative Rice, 95th. All following amendment in the Senate Committee substitute House Bill 463. Upper right-hand corner of the amendment, which is subject to Representative Rice's motion, AM 340621.
Chair recognizes Chairman Rice to explain the Senate substitute as amended to House Bill 463.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When the bill left the House, it was an international registration plan bill for the truckers in this state, and what it basically did was to remove the ad valorem requirement on truckers and increase the registration fees, and it passed over here overwhelmingly. I don't think there were any no votes on the bill. Went over there in committee. They stripped out the IRP language for lack of a fiscal note, and they inserted an amendment, which I agreed to, which helps with the implementation of the title ad valorem tax by giving the tax commissioners a little bit more capability to look at the obsolescence factor on used cars. The amendment you've got in front of you puts back the IRP language that we took out. The fact was there was never a fiscal note required because it was all local revenue. We got one anyway and said that there was a minor difference of $100,000, and that was about it, total fiscal effect on the state. And everybody's in agreement that we want to move ahead and put IRP and the Maury Amendment or the GADA Amendment back in and send it back to them. And that's it. I'll take any questions, Ms.
There's
Madam
one
Speaker.
question. Chair recognizes Representative Spencer for a question.
Mr. Chairman, do you yield?
Yeah, sure. I yield.
Just wanted to make sure you and I have talked about the IRP language, and this essentially is the identical language that you had.
Exactly the identical language.
Okay. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, Representative O'Neill, for a question.
Thank you. Would the gentleman yield?
I yield.
The GDA amendment or GADA amendment that you mentioned, is there a fiscal note on that?
Yes, there was a fiscal note on that. The Office of Planning and Budget has changed their opinion of that, and they see no fiscal effect that they recognized as salient.
There are no more questions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I recommend the bill to the House.
Gentleman has yielded the well. On the gentleman's motion that the House agree to the Senate substitute as amended for House Bill 463, all those in favor will vote yes, those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the gentleman's motion, the yeas were 160, the nays were 2, and the House has agreed to the Senate substitute as amended for House Bill 463. The chair will be taking page pictures for a few minutes for those of you who have pages that will be wanting to leave soon.
I'll save it.
I don't really know what you said, but I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about. Don't even know what you're talking about. Hey, partner. Bless you. No, I actually. Here's a conference thing.
The House will be at ease until 3:45. 3:45.